Hello guys, we're back again on What the Mail. This is the second episode. So it's been about 6 to 7 weeks. Now you can see that the airlock is kind of like quite balanced. So basically there's not much pressure. So there's an assumption that it's almost done. So before we think that it's done, we have to make sure that it is actually done. So how do we check is that we will be taking measurements. So we will plug out the airlock now. And then we will put it into the sanitizer solution that I have on the floor this time. Now open up. Quite nasty, quite thin. Smells not that good, but drink itself smells not bad. Okay. Let's test how far it has been. Okay. So to prevent aeration, because now we need to prevent aeration to make it not have off flavors and become vinegar, we need to squeeze the bulb before we put it inside. Pour some liquid up, add it in, do the same until we get the amount that we need. Okay, so according to this, I'm seeing around about 1.05 reading. So in this reading, actually we are not very close to being done, but there might be an issue whether it being that it stopped or it's still going. But since it's 6 weeks and we have a lot of solids on top, it is better for us to rack it into a new container and let it continue and see whether or not the readings remain. So we'll begin the racking. Before that, we might want to taste a little bit to see how far it has been. Although it's not a good idea to taste it now, but I'll taste it for science. Because if I taste it now, it might give me some gassiness, but I think it should be fine. Yeah. Okay, it smells quite alcoholic. Yeah, I smell quite a lot of alcohol. Not much date smell, but it's because it's young, so it should be like that. Tastes pretty pleasant, pretty smooth, because I think it's not very alcoholic right now. So now we'll begin the process of racking it. Since I'm not really wanting to fully rack it, like I'm just transferring so that the solid will not allow the thing to become vinegar. So I'm just kind of like just transferring the container to remove the solids. I'm not sure if you all can see the bubbles, but the bubbles is from the sanitizer. So after pouring, I'm just gonna put it down and then I'm gonna begin my racking. This part will be speed up because I think it's very boring. Since there's a lot of leaves, I'm gonna put the cap on for the siphon. There's a cap to prevent basically it's the mug blocker. So I'm gonna put it on. My hands are sanitized and the thing is also sanitized. You can see the bubbles. Now put it in. Put it quite, lift it up a bit. Now begin my racking process. Okay, then after I can slowly lower the rod into the solution. Okay, so since this is not really how do I say this, like not one of the rackings, it's just rack to let it continue, not to let it condition. I'm just going to plug out the bottom and allow some solids to go in. So yeah, there will still be some solids, but it will not be big enough to float on top. I think look at it now. This is probably all I can get from this, because all this is all very thick sludge already. I might be able to get more from filtering, but I highly doubt that it will help the yield at all. So therefore, this way I will stop it. So this is kind of what I got. So basically, in this first racking, our main reasoning for this first racking is to remove the mark, basically all that mark. I don't know if you can see all this, that all the top part brownish, the crossing line, and the bottom mark. That all this can affect and cause to be sites of fermentation for the fungus and bacteria that we do not want, causing off flavor and many other things. So basically, now let's do some calculations. So since we know that 1.06 alcohol is 0.06 purity of alcohol is made, so we multiply that 135. Hopefully it's above 10, but since it's 8.81, you can only use the coefficient of 131.25. That will give us a 7.87% of alcohol. So right now, the alcohol percentage inside this container is 7.87%. Not sure if it's stalled, but it could have. But because it's 7.87%, this amount of headroom is actually quite dangerous. But because I do not have any measures, do not have any smaller containers right now, I just have to make do right now. But I think nothing should happen to this, since we have removed the mark and all the excess things to give it a chance that gives it a chance to become vinegar, or risk it to become vinegar. I think it should be fine. So what we'll do now is that we'll cap it up and we'll let it sit for another month before we do anything about it, or until we see that the airlock is kind of balanced. For now, I'm not sure if it's still having positive pressure, but we can test it by swirling it a bit. After swirling, you can see that there is positive pressure. I have a lower one table to show you. You can see that there's bubbling on the side. Since with this bubbling, it will show me that the reaction, the carbon dioxide is still being released to fill up this area. So this whole container right now is still safe against vinegarization. So I'll just put it away and let it sit. So it will be a few seconds for you guys, but for me, it will be a month, and then we'll come back again. Hi guys, so we have run into our first problem. So basically, what issue we're facing right now is that it is currently at equal pressure, as you see from the airlock, and the seal is quite tight. So this is an issue because it was still active before I wrecked it, and the reason why I wrecked it was to take it off the solids so that there will not be any chances. Basically, I'm trying to lower the chances of it being fermented into vinegar. But because of my wrecking mishap, I think I might have caused the colony inside this meat to be too low, and now it has kind of like stalled, right? But to check whether or not it's stalled, we have to measure the gravity left. So previously it was at 1.05, but now we will check. So there's few reasons for the stall. One reason is that whatever that is left inside could be unfermentable sugars, which could be possible, and that's the reason. That means it has gone to completion. If it has residual sugars but it didn't continue, it could be that the alcohol of this is very high, and therefore the yeast cannot continue. For 71B, I think the yeast tolerance is around 15% alcohol. So according to my calculations, it's not even close. Then there's the final possibility, which is the highest possibility, where it's an error on my part, where I wrecked off too much of the yeast. And this is an issue because the 71B is a good flocculating yeast, and therefore most of the yeast colonies is at the bottom, and hence maybe when I took too much out, most of the yeast it has been taken away, and now the colony inside here is too small to be viable for fermentation. So because of that, because we want to test these three possible options, my idea is to add one more packet in to see if it goes. If it doesn't go, means it's completion. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to open this and take a reading, although it's not very safe because I will risk it to have infection, but this is what we have to do. Some risks are risks that we have to take. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take it out and take a reading, see if anything has changed. Oh, my bad. I accidentally overturned it. Okay, I'll clean it up. It's fine. But okay, just take the reading. Okay, so the reading is here. Okay, ready? Here goes nothing. I hope this thing is fine. You can see how clear this alcohol is. I don't know if you all can see. It's basically, I can see my finger behind it. Yeah. It's a good sign that it might have finished, but just to be safe, we can add yeast in. Okay, from the smell of it, is that this date wine has started to become even more fragrant, which is a good sign. So as I can see, basically the gravity hasn't changed. It's at 1.05, which is considerably high. The final option is that maybe this date is antimicrobial, but it's highly unlikely because I've never seen anything saying that dates are antimicrobial. So I feel like it might be my fault that I've taken too much of the yeast. So we get a taste to see if there's any difference. Okay, the taste has improved greatly after leaving it for a week. So this is a week after, because I couldn't get the yeast. Basically, now that I've tested it and I've tasted it, and I feel like I might have played a part in the current issue. Okay, although I like the taste of what it is currently, I wouldn't say that it is viable, or it is even good to leave it as is, because let's say it hasn't reached its full potential, where it means it fermented to the end, basically finished fermentation. What could happen is, one day when I'm bottling, what will happen is the yeast colony might have grown enough at a certain point where it starts fermentation again, and this time it will be in a bottle without an airlock. And what will it cause? It will cause a bottle bomb, which is very dangerous because like flying glass everywhere. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to mix in the yeast using this Glencairn. The reason why is because I'm trying not to oxidize it. So I'll pour this back in, because I sanitize this in the solution which is below the table right now. I'm going to mix the yeast inside this container before pouring it in. Hopefully, if let's say the yeast didn't start back up, means the fermentation didn't start back up, it means that this is done. So I'll just be using a full packet just in case there is kind of like hard stuck. So I'm just giving it as much chance to restart as possible. Going forward, I would like to also add that I will change my method of removing the yeast whenever I'm doing a fermentation with a lot of solids. I'll probably buy a cheesecloth or a mesh cloth so that I'm able to use the siphon above the cloth so that the solids can't get in and jam the siphon, which was the problem I previously had. So now, as you can see, I'm mixing it up. It looks kind of nasty, like a very chunky mix. Normally, I will try to let it sit and see if there's any reaction, and then I'll just go with it. I wouldn't do it now because I think it's an experiment that I'm willing to take. So I'm just going to pour all this back in. On hindsight, this might have been not as good of a method to get the yeast in, but I will continue to improve my methods. But as of now, we have re-inoculated the yeast back into the solution. I'll update you all on what actually happened in the next video. Okay guys, so it's been 1 week since we added the yeast. So let's see what has happened. Because the percentage is currently calculated as below 10%, so there's a danger that this meat can become vinegar. So we gotta try to expedite the process in case it's become vinegar. So if we find that there's no sugar change, it will be safe enough to be bottled. Okay, so let's test purity level. If there's a change, then yeah, it has fermented, and then we'll leave for another week. Okay, so currently, right, the reading is still at 1.050. So basically, there's no change. Even though we added the yeast, there was no fermentation going on. This means that the mash prior to racking has already been done. So it's not fermentable. We'll get a taste in case there's any changes, see if there's any tweaking required. In terms of smell, because of the addition of yeast, the smell is a bit more yeasty and a bit more change. But we will talk more about the flavor profile in the next video. So basically, since now we know that the yeast, the wine is done, so we can rack it. So, but that's all for this video about finishing. Yeah, so our final gravity is at 10.05, and our alcohol percentage is around 7.68%. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks for watching. Comment down below what I can improve and also what else you all want to see. Thank you very much.